In the time span of 21 days, I was able to contract $42,000 in revenue because I'm booking over 30 appointments every single week onto my calendar because I have a scripting process and a 5-step scripting structure that's allowing me to actually convince people to get on calls. And the script is, hi, name, could I share you some info on how I or my client accomplished X result? So if you're doing this for gyms, it could be something like how I signed up my client for 23 members in the last 3 weeks, right? How I was able to get this realtor X amount of listings in the last month, right? How I was able to book a certain amount of appointments in the last month, okay? Now, the reason why this first part of the process works is because of the standard that we are using to optimize this, okay? So the thing that we want to get from this message is not only a reply. See, what a lot of people do is they go in with the question saying, hey, name, is this a good place to ask questions? And the thing is that this will get a lot of replies, but the issue is it's not the replies from the people that you want, right? This is why there's so many influencers that are in the entertainment space that can't seem to make any money because the eyeballs that they have aren't very valuable. It's the same thing with this. You're getting attention from people who think that you are a customer, okay? And this is why you want to lead in with an easy yes question, but you also have to relate to your offer, or else you're going to cause dissonance and you're going to cause a disconnect, right, between why the prospect thought you were sending the initial message and why you actually sent it. Because when you're sending this, not only are you going to get a significant amount of people to reply, right, because it's an easy yes question, but it also actually relates to your offer, okay? And if people are leaving you on red when you're DMing people, if people are saying that you are not interested when you're trying to pitch, this is the reason why, okay? And it all comes down to the principles of persuasion that we're going to use. And right before we dive into our pitch and how we actually build this thing out, I want to explain this because this is very, very important, okay? And I made a whole video on this, but in short, okay? You need to avoid friction, okay? If you have any of these 5 things in your outreach script, you're going straight to the spam folder and you're going straight to trash, okay? They're just going to delete your message, send it off to spam, and not look at it, okay? So this is what you need to have, right? It needs to be short. You cannot cause any friction when this person's reading it. If you are sending a long initial message, no one cares. It's going to cause a massive amount of friction. This is why the ads that convert the best have a very strong hook, because if you are making it difficult for the person to want to continue watching, then no one is going to want to watch it. No one's going to want to read the entire pitch that you have to send them, okay? It needs to be a novel message. So you cannot copy and paste the same script that everybody else is using because people are going to be desensitized to that. That's why most of these scripts that you see on YouTube, they're not going to work. And I can promise you, if you go ahead and you copy this exact same script, it's not going to work because every single other person watching this video is for some reason going to think that it's a good idea, okay? You can't, because you're going to run into the problem of desensitization. So use your brain and follow these principles, okay? Number 3 is perceived effort. So what we can do to avoid this is if you go to Instagram or Facebook, this will work on those two. You're going to have to do this manually on LinkedIn and things like Twitter, right? But if you go to Instagram and if you go to Facebook, what you can do is if you upload an M4A file inside of a chat, it's going to automatically turn into a voice note and you can pre-record that file, meaning that you can automatically send out voice notes to cause perceived effort that you actually took the time to send them that voice note. However, you didn't need to take any time to do it, right? Because it's evergreen, okay? The next thing is desire and incentive, okay? So again, this comes down to that initial message, and this is going to come down to the pitch. If you are not consistently talking about the result of what your client is going to get, they're not going to care. If you are talking about the ads that you run, if you are talking about the strategies used to run the ads, if you're talking about the benefits of running a retargeting campaign, no one gives a shit, okay? You need to link back to what they actually want. If these people understood the value in ads, if they understood the value in your coaching, they would have already bought it, okay? This is what you have to focus on, is the actual outcome that this person wants to achieve, okay? And then the final thing is escalation of commitment, okay? You cannot ask for a call straight off the bat. You have to go through this process of sending this first initial message, and then once you get permission, then you can go ahead and pitch, okay? And what we're able to do inside of this pitching process is we want to send a Loom video, okay? The reason why we do this is because when we're able to actually convey our messaging and convey the value within a video, right? Not only is it going to cause less friction for a person to watch a video than to read through a whole paragraph of your pitch, but it's also going to convert better because you're able to go through the testimonials like Caleb, who generate 100 appointments every single month just after 4 months, right? Me actually showing this guy's face is going to be a lot more believable and a lot more valuable than actually just putting it on a piece of text, right? This is why people are doing way more video testimonials and putting that on their page rather than those little like 5-star reviews with those like quotes and those like, this person helped me so much, right? It's, you need to see the person's face, okay? And if you don't have results, that's fine. But this is where you want to put the most emphasis on your offer and on the actual results that if you're getting. Because if you can actually show people, this is my calendar, this is literally how many appointments I am booking every single week, it becomes very, very realistic for this person to actually feel like, okay, this guy is actually the shit. He actually knows what he was talking about. And again, you do not pitch the process. You think if I go into DMs, I'm talking about the little things about Instantly and about the cold email and about how I do this cold DM automation. No one gives a shit about that. Unless, like, obviously YouTube's different because you came to this video for that. But if I'm going to someone else and I'm using outreach, like, they are not necessarily interested in that kind of a thing. But what they are interested is the result that I can actually help them get, okay? And this is where you are actually able to hit this spike in revenue like I had, right? And being able to actually, like, going through this whole pain of this like 9 months of just suffering and then figuring out what the key is to actually being able to skyrocket my revenue and actually make more than I had the entire 9 months previously by a multiple of like 10 times. This is where you're able to unlock that growth once you can actually figure out how to resonate with the people who you are actually messaging. And this thing really works. And if this is valuable so far, if this has actually been helpful, and if you feel like this is actually legit, because it is, right? And because this is actually working right now, there is a link in the bio, right, or in the description that you can click, and it's going to show you exactly how this has worked for every single one of my clients and exactly how we're actually able to guarantee these results, because this thing is absolutely killer once you have this process in place and once you actually have a proper scripting structure in place. If you want me to help you build that out with you and actually make sure that you never have to struggle with appointment and booking again, check that out because it's going to change your life, right? And the next part of the process is once you have this in place, right? Once you're actually showing that you can actually put effort into your messaging, right? Once you can actually make sure that you have this in place, you have the messaging in place, you're able to resonate with what your prospect actually wants, you need to be able to scale, right? Because if you're doing all the DMing yourself and if you are the one who's actually running this process alone, you're never going to be able to take it to the next level and actually reach 20, 30, 40K per month, right? Because you are the one stuck in the weeds. And this is where you need automation, okay? This is where you need to be able to leverage things like software and like things like AI in order to be able to scale what you have currently going on, because the easiest way to make more money is doing more of what's already working, right? And this is how we were able to get Ben 24 booked appointments in literally the first 3 weeks of actually doing this together and getting into that 30K per month mark, right? And this is why I'm able to consistently send 600 DMs per day, because I have an automation process in place, okay? And you can watch that video for that if you want to, because again, this thing just simply works. And Caleb, right, like I was showing you before, he's booking 4 appointments every single day without having to do any of the work himself because it's completely automated. So if that's something you want, check the link in the description. If you don't care about that, that's fine. Check out the other videos inside of here, and I'll see you in the next one.